The lump appeared in October, small and hard beneath my collarbone. By early November I had 3 more, 1 under my arm, 2 in my neck. By Thanksgiving I was so exhausted I could barely stay awake through a full workday. It's probably just swollen lymph nodes, my father said at Thanksgiving dinner. He was a general practitioner at Riverside Medical Center, 23 years in practice. You're run down. Take some vitamins. My sister Amanda nodded. You always get sick this time of year. It's seasonal. I was 30 years old, a data analyst for a pharmaceutical research company, and I knew something was wrong. Dad, I have multiple enlarged lymph nodes. That's not seasonal. Don't catastrophize medical terminology you don't understand. You're not a doctor, Claire. I am. It's nothing serious. Probably a viral infection. I've had them for a month. They're getting bigger. Then take immune support supplements. You're stressed from that job. Your body is responding. I see this all the time in my practice. My mother patted my hand. Your father knows best, sweetheart. He's been practicing medicine over 2 decades. If he says you're fine, you're fine. Amanda smirked. Besides, you can't be that sick. You look normal. When people are actually sick, you can tell. I left dinner early, the lymph nodes throbbing. The next week, I made an appointment with my physician, Dr. Rachel Torres. She felt the nodes and her expression turned serious. Claire, these need to be biopsied immediately. This pattern is concerning. I'm ordering a PET scan and referring you to an oncologist. My father said it was just viral. Your father should know better than to diagnose family without proper examination and imaging. How long have these been present? 6 weeks. Her jaw tightened. 6 weeks is far too long to dismiss multiple enlarged lymph nodes as viral. I'm getting you in for testing this week. The PET scan lit up like a Christmas tree. Lymph nodes throughout my neck, chest, and abdomen glowed with metabolic activity. The biopsy confirmed stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. My oncologist, Dr. Michael Brennan, was direct. This is serious but treatable. Hodgkin's in young adults has excellent response rates. We're looking at 6 months of aggressive treatment starting immediately. ABVD chemotherapy every 2 weeks, followed by radiation. What's my prognosis? With treatment, 85 to 90% 5-year survival. Without treatment, this kills you within a year. But we caught this at a manageable stage. If we'd waited another few months. My father told me it was just swollen glands from stress. Dr. Brennan's expression darkened. Your father is a physician, general practitioner, Riverside Medical Center. And he dismissed multiple enlarged lymph nodes for 6 weeks as stress? Yes. Let's focus on your treatment. We start chemotherapy next week. I called my parents that evening. I have cancer. Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 3. I start chemo next Wednesday. My father's voice was sharp. That seems very aggressive. Are you sure this oncologist knows what he's doing? Sometimes specialists see cancer everywhere. I think you need a second opinion. I've had a PET scan, biopsy, and pathology reports. It's definitely lymphoma. Who's your oncologist? Dr. Michael Brennan. Long pause. Michael Brennan from Memorial Cancer Center? Yes. Another pause. Well, he's competent, I suppose. But starting treatment right before Christmas seems unnecessarily rushed. Can't you postpone until after the holidays? We have our annual ski trip to Aspen planned for December 20th through January 2nd. I couldn't process what I was hearing. Dad, I have cancer. Stage 3. The doctor said we can't wait. Oncologists always say everything is urgent. It's how they justify their fees. A few weeks won't make significant difference. Your mother and I have had this trip planned since February. Amanda and her fiancé are coming. It's family tradition. I have cancer. And you'll still have cancer in January. We'll be back on the 3rd. You can start treatment then. It's only a 2-week delay. He said starting immediately is critical. Then he's being overly dramatic. This is the problem with specialists. They lose perspective. Trust me, Claire. I'm a doctor. I know when something is truly urgent. This can wait. They hung up. Amanda called an hour later. Are you seriously going to guilt trip Mom and Dad out of the Aspen trip? Do you know how much they've been looking forward to this? I have stage 3 lymphoma. I need chemotherapy. Stop being so dramatic about treatments. Lots of people have cancer and still manage not to ruin their family's holiday plans. This is so typical of you, always making everything about yourself. I'm trying to survive. Well, your timing is incredibly selfish. We have this trip planned and now Mom is stressed because you're making her feel guilty. Can't you just schedule your treatments around our vacation? Cancer doesn't work on a vacation schedule. God, you're exhausting. Just so you know, if you make Mom and Dad cancel this trip, I'll never forgive you. I started chemotherapy on December 13th. The first infusion was brutal. 8 hours connected to N4 while drugs flooded my system. My friend Jordan sat with me the entire time. She'd taken the day off from teaching. Where's your family? Planning their ski trip. They know you have cancer, right? They just don't think it's urgent enough to change vacation plans. What the fuck is wrong with them? The chemotherapy destroyed me. By December 15th, I was so nauseous I couldn't keep down water. By December 17th, my hair started falling out. By December 19th, I was running a fever and my white blood cell count had crashed. My family left for Aspen on December 20th. They sent one text. Have a great Christmas. We'll bring you back some hot cocoa mix. Snowman. I spent Christmas Eve in the emergency room. The fever had spiked to 103. And Dr. Brennan had ordered immediate admission for 4 antibiotics. My immune system was so compromised that even a minor infection could be life-threatening. Jordan sat beside my hospital bed while nurses hung bags of antibiotics. I called your parents. Your mom said they're having a wonderful time on the slopes and she's sure you're doing fine. I'm getting treatment. You're alone in a hospital on Christmas Eve with cancer. You're not fine. Around 8 that evening, Dr. Brennan stopped by. He looked tired but sat down. How are you feeling? Like death. The fever's coming down. We'll keep you here overnight, probably discharge you tomorrow if everything stays stable. Merry Christmas to me. He smiled sadly. I'm sorry your family isn't here. My dad said cancer treatment isn't that urgent. Your dad is wrong. Stage 3 lymphoma is absolutely urgent. Every week we delayed increased your risk of progression. He paused. Your father practices at Riverside Medical Center? Yes. Why? Just curious. What I didn't know was that Dr. Michael Brennan had just been named the new Chief Medical Officer of Riverside Medical Center, effective January 1st. He would be overseeing all medical staff including my father's practice. I was discharged on Christmas Day. Jordan picked me up and took me to her family's house. Her mother cried when she saw how sick I looked. My family sent a photo from Aspen. All of them in matching ski sweaters, grinning. The caption, Merry Christmas from the slopes. Wish you were here. Please. The chemotherapy continued every 2 weeks through January and February. Each cycle was worse. I lost all my hair, dropped 30 pounds and spent most days either in bed or throwing up. Jordan drove me to every appointment. My family returned from Aspen on January 3rd. They didn't visit. My father called once. We're back. The trip was incredible. Best skiing we've had in years. How are you feeling? I was hospitalized on Christmas Eve with a fever and infection. I almost died. Oh, that's unfortunate. But you're out now, so clearly you're fine. I told you this wasn't as urgent as your oncologist made it sound. I'm not handling it fine. I'm barely surviving. Everyone feels that way during chemo. It's normal. You're just not used to being sick. This is temporary discomfort. I have stage 3 cancer, which you're treating. Now we need to talk about Easter. Your mother wants to plan a big family dinner, and we need to know if you'll be done with all this treatment nonsense by then. I hung up. In mid-February, I finished my last chemotherapy cycle. The scans showed significant tumor reduction. I still needed 6 weeks of radiation therapy, scheduled to start in early March. My father called when he heard. Radiation? That seems excessive. The chemo worked, didn't it? Why do you need more treatment? Dr. Brennan said radiation is standard protocol. Dr. Brennan is being overly aggressive. You should consider just stopping now and letting your body recover naturally. I'm following my oncologist's recommendations. Your oncologist doesn't know you like I know you. I'm your father. I'm a physician. I'm telling you that more treatment isn't necessary. I blocked his number after that call. What I didn't know was that Dr. Brennan had officially started as Chief Medical Officer in January. Part of his responsibility was reviewing all physicians' patient care standards. And he'd requested my father's patient files for quality review. On March 15th, I had my first radiation appointment. Daily treatments Monday through Friday for 6 weeks. Jordan continued driving me to every appointment. On March 28th, I received an unexpected call from Dr. Brennan's office asking if I'd participate in a medical ethics review. What kind of review? Dr. Brennan needs to speak with you directly. It concerns your father. 2 days later, I sat in Dr. Brennan's office at Riverside Medical Center. Claire, this conversation is separate from your treatment. As your oncologist, my priority is your health. But as chief medical officer, I have other responsibilities. Okay. I've been conducting quality reviews of all physicians at Riverside. Your father's name came up and I noticed concerning patterns in his patient files. What kind of patterns? Multiple instances of dismissing patient symptoms without appropriate diagnostic workup. Several cases where he told patients their symptoms were stress-related, without ordering necessary tests. 2 cases where patients developed serious complications because of delayed diagnoses. My hands started shaking. He did that to me. He told me my lymph nodes were just stress for 6 weeks. I know. Claire, I need to ask you questions about your experience. You're not required to answer and this won't affect your treatment. But if you're willing to provide a statement, it could be helpful. What happens to my dad if I do? That depends on the full investigation. But dismissing obvious cancer symptoms in a family member, especially when you're a licensed physician, constitutes serious professional negligence. At minimum, disciplinary action. At maximum, license suspension or revocation. I thought about Christmas Eve in the hospital, alone with a fever that could have killed me. I thought about my father calling stage 3 lymphoma, not urgent. What do you need to know? I told him everything. The 6 weeks of dismissed symptoms. The insistence it was just stress. The demand that I delay chemotherapy for their ski trip. The Christmas Eve hospitalization they missed. The continued minimization throughout treatment. Dr. Brennan's expression grew darker. Did he examine you at all during those 6 weeks? No. He just looked at me across the dinner table and said I was fine. Did he recommend any diagnostic tests? No. He said I was catastrophizing. And he's aware you have stage 3 lymphoma? Yes. He still calls it not that serious. Dr. Brennan was quiet. Claire, this is egregious. Your father demonstrated gross negligence. If he'd done this to a patient, it would be grounds for immediate license review. The fact that he did it to his own daughter is worse. What happens now? I'm opening a formal investigation. The medical board will be notified. Your father will have an opportunity to respond. But based on what you've told me and what I'm seeing in his patient files, I don't see how he keeps his license without significant disciplinary action. My father was notified of the investigation on April 2nd, 2 weeks before their planned Caribbean cruise. My phone exploded. 47 calls from my mother. 31 from Amanda. My mother's voicemail. Claire, what have you done? Your father is under investigation. The medical board is reviewing his license. Do you understand what you've done to this family? We could lose everything. And the cruise is in 2 weeks. How are we supposed to enjoy our vacation with this hanging over us? Amanda's text. You vindictive bitch. Dad made a mistake and you're destroying his career. You've ruined this family. I didn't respond. The investigation moved quickly. Dr. Brennan had compiled extensive documentation. My medical records showing delayed diagnosis, statements from Dr. Torres about the danger of dismissing lymphadenopathy, pathology reports confirming advanced cancer, and records of my Christmas Eve hospitalization. He'd also found 3 other patients with similar stories. One had delayed diabetes treatment. Another had a missed breast cancer diagnosis. A third had developed sepsis from an untreated infection my father had dismissed as minor. The medical board hearing was scheduled for April 20th. I attended. I sat in the hearing room wearing a wig to cover my still bald head, my skin still raw from radiation, and I testified about my father's dismissal of my cancer symptoms. The board chair, Dr. Patricia Vance, listened in silence. Then she turned to my father. Dr. Morrison, you are a licensed physician with 23 years of experience. You have training in symptom assessment and diagnostic protocols. Is that correct? Yes. Your daughter presented with multiple enlarged lymph nodes present for 6 weeks. This is a textbook indication for biopsy and imaging. Why did you not recommend these tests? I didn't think they were necessary. The presentation suggested benign reactive lymphadenopathy. Without examination or diagnostic workup? I'm her father. I see her regularly. I know what she looks like when she's sick. Did you perform any physical examination? Not formally, no. So you made a diagnosis without examination, without labs, without imaging, and without considering differential diagnoses that include malignancy? My father shifted uncomfortably. In my clinical judgment. Your clinical judgment nearly killed your daughter. She has stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. If she'd waited another month based on your advice, we might not be having this conversation. The hearing revealed everything. The 6-week delay. The demand that I postpone chemotherapy. The Christmas Eve hospitalization. The continued minimization throughout treatment. The board deliberated 40 minutes. Dr. Thomas Morrison, Dr. Vance announced, "This board finds that you demonstrated gross negligence in your assessment and advice regarding your daughter's medical condition. You failed to conduct examination, you failed to order appropriate tests, you dismissed clear warning signs of serious disease, and you actively discouraged your daughter from seeking timely care. Additionally, the investigation has revealed a pattern of similar conduct with patients in your practice. Your medical license is hereby suspended for a minimum of 1 year, pending completion of remedial training in diagnostic assessment and professional ethics. You are also required to undergo psychiatric evaluation to assess your clinical judgment. The board will review your case for potential permanent revocation after the suspension period." My mother screamed that I'd destroyed my father's career. Amanda shouted that I was dead to them. I walked out with Dr. Brennan beside me. "How do you feel?" "Like I can finally breathe." "Good. Because you're cancer-free as of yesterday's scans. The radiation worked. You're in complete remission." I cried. Not from sadness but from relief. I'd survived cancer. I'd survived my family's neglect. And I'd made sure my father couldn't hurt anyone else. My father lost his medical license permanently after he failed the psychiatric evaluation. The assessor found he lacked the clinical judgment and empathy necessary for patient care. The Caribbean cruise was canceled. The Aspen ski trip became their last family vacation. Amanda hasn't spoken to me in 2 years. My parents send nothing. I'm 32 now, 2 years cancer-free. My hair grew back. I gained weight back. I have regular scans and everything remains clear. Dr. Brennan still sends me a card every Christmas. So does Jordan, who I consider my real family. My father calls occasionally from his new job managing a medical supply warehouse. He never apologizes. He just asks if I'm finally over this whole thing. I'm over the cancer. I'm over the family that dismissed it. And I'm over the father who valued vacation more than his daughter's life. Some diagnoses are urgent. Some cancers can't wait. Some families are toxic. And some doctors shouldn't be doctors at all.